Hey, it's Wednesday. We are live. Enjoy this music for a quick second. My puppy is making a lot of noise. Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Come on in. I hope you had your alert on to remind you that it is Wednesday. It's 5 o'clock, and we are live with our own again weekly show. Come on in, share this with some of your friends, some of your family members. We know a lot of folks are thinking about real estate today. Some are seriously thinking about real estate today, and I hope to bring you some value as we talk about short sales and buying a short sale today. So, come on in, come on in. Welcome to our show. Awesome. Got some Beyonce. It's Wednesday. Some of you are winding down. Hopefully, you're off work and get a chance to learn some real estate stuff. Today, I am Gersha Porter. I am an associate broker here in the Baltimore metropolitan area. I bring to you almost 2 decades of real estate experience. And yes, I work real hard to eliminate confusion for buyers and sellers by giving them key strategies to unlock resources to buy their dream home or to sell their property for top dollar. So let's talk about short sales today. If you are new to us, you know I'm going to ask you to please let StreamYard have permission to access your Facebook account so that I will know who I'm speaking with. I'll know who joined us. I'll be able to answer your questions and call your name. So if you could, please do give StreamYard permission to access your Facebook account. Awesome, awesome. So welcome again to our Facebook Live. Today we are talking about buying a short sale. Now, you say to yourself, what is a short sale? What is a short sale, Gersha? Like other misnomers out there. And you know, I am here to clarify things for you and to set it straight. A short sale is often anything but that. It is not short at all. A short sale is a way for a homeowner who owes more on their property than the property is worth to sell their house and avoid foreclosure while appeasing all of the lenders. So, the lender has a requirement. There are a whole lot of things that they require from the seller. So, essentially, think about the fact that the seller is coming up short on what they owe the seller, okay? Rather than it being like a short walk around the block. Not at all. A short sale is when a homeowner is able to sell their home for less than the mortgage that is owed on the home. Okay? So if that makes sense to you, if I explained that well, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know that that was quite clear. Okay? So let's dig right in. As a buyer, what does this mean to you? It means that you'll have to work with the seller and the seller's lender to negotiate the sale, which will take some time. Okay? You can imagine there's a third party in this transaction. So you have the seller, you have the buyer, but you also have the mortgage lender, the person that holds the mortgage on that home. Okay? So no matter how easy you think it may be for the seller to accept your offer, ultimately that mortgage lender has to agree to the terms of the sale. All right? So in addition to the fact that there's a third party involved in this real estate transaction, there's this other thing. It's called as is. What does that mean? It means that when you purchase that home, the seller will make no repairs. Okay? We are talking about a seller who isn't able to keep up on their mortgage typically, or they've decided that this house is worth way, way less than the mortgage, and so they're not paying the mortgage. So part of the terms of which the seller has agreed to with the lender is that yes, you can sell your property for less than it's worth, and you're also able to sell it as is. You don't have to make any repairs. Okay, so when you buy a short sale, you need to know that the seller will make no repairs. You can have a home inspection, but that's really for your information, okay? So that you know when you enter into this transaction, anything that needs to be done to the home will be your financial responsibility. So, patience and persistence in a short sale can have their rewards, and it can save you money in the long run. But the process is absolutely a marathon. It is not a sprint. And we need buyers to have patience when they go through the process of buying a short sale. So, what I have today for you is some essential steps in the short sale buying process. Okay, so I want to go ahead and welcome you. If you've just joined us, we're talking today about buying a short sale. Now, some of you have been around for a while, like I have, and you've been keeping your eye on the real estate market. You say, well, I'm not seeing a lot of short sales. Well, there are short sales, and there are even more coming on the market now. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to hire an agent who knows what they're doing. That would be me. Okay, when you're going to start out looking seriously at a short sale, please do make sure you found the right agent, because short sales are a process that if an agent hasn't gone through it before, they're going to probably be figuring it out. You want to make sure you're working with a realtor who is experienced. Now, you guys know I've been transparent. In addition to helping my clients purchase short sales and sell their homes as a short sale, I've personally experienced selling a house, my own house, as a short sale. Okay, so my qualifications as a realtor are definitely there, but my qualifications as a homeowner are there as well. So this is not a process for the light at heart. Okay, sellers have to go through quite a few hoops with their lender, and as a buyer, it's going to take some time for you to get that diamond in the rough. You're going to be able to buy a house in a neighborhood you normally wouldn't be able to buy. Why? Because the property is listed for less than the other homes around it. Okay? So make sure you're working with a realtor who understands the process, the nuances, and how to maneuver those steps that are involved to protect you and to represent you as a buyer. And the next thing I want to talk about is, how do you find a short sale? How do you find a house that is available for sale, but it's a short sale? Now, if you're using the app that I give you, HomeSnap, I'm going to make sure I put the link in today as well in the comments. You're going to be tied to the multiple list system. And when you see these properties on this app that are for sale, there is a line right there that says short sale. So as a buyer, oftentimes you don't see those in the remarks, because when we market those as agents that work for sellers, we're not going to put it in the comments, this is a short sale, right? So your realtor needs to be able to let you know that, because that's in the information that we have. But if you're looking on the sites, on some of the apps that are out there right now for you to look to find a home, you may see it right there. It'll say active, and then it will say short sale. Okay, so make sure you start that process when you're looking for homes and you're going to home in on a short sale. You know how to find them. Okay. Some folks will say to me, well, I want to buy a foreclosed property. They're not the same. And we can talk about foreclosed property. There we go. That's a topic I'll make sure I cover in one of my lives, is how to buy a foreclosed property. Okay. So I just told you how to find that. Now, let's talk a little bit about the neighborhood, how you have to actually contextualize that neighborhood. What does that mean? Context, context, context. It's a great house for a lower price. It's usually lower because we consider a short sale a distressed property. It's distressed because it is a property that more than likely the owner has not been paying their mortgage. So they may be behind on their homeowner's insurance. They may be behind on a homeowners association fees and the dues. If it's in a condominium community, they may be behind on the condominium fees. Now, don't worry as the buyer. Those fees and those dues are not your responsibility. They will be brought up to current and paid off at settlement. Okay, so don't worry about those things. What you want to consider is, what are the home price trends in that neighborhood that you're looking at? Okay, so when you go in and you say, hey, this is a short sale, I may need to do some things, I'm buying it as is, I may have to address the HVAC system, but look at this neighborhood. The prices are going up and up and up. And if I could buy a home at this price now, at a distressed price, I will be getting into a community I normally wouldn't be able to. So you want to make an educated decision so that you will be buying a home that's going to appreciate over time, right? That is one of the biggest real estate decisions you can make. Purchasing a home that you're going to be pretty sure will appreciate over time. So have your realtor look at the trends in the neighborhood. Are the prices going up or are they going down? How has that neighborhood survived some economic storms before? How did they survive the last bubble we had? Did those prices plummet or did they just drop a little? Okay, so it can be beneficial if you're even thinking about the month that's going to be best for you to resell that home. Now we think, hey, this is my forever home, but sometimes it's not. And you may need to sell that home again. So continue to think about the neighborhood. Contextualize the neighborhood. The next tip I want to give you is to take a tour with an eye on the bones. And guess what, guys? I haven't been going through my slides. Okay, we already talked about the agent. We talked about how you find the home. We talked about the neighborhood. Now, take a tour with an eye on the bones. Now, this is a picture of a home inspector. You may or may not have an inspector in the beginning. You may write an offer that has a home inspection contingency on it. But when you go in to look at that home, you want to make sure that you have your eyes on some really important pieces of the home. Hey, Facebook user, thanks for joining us. If you give StreamYard permission to access your Facebook page, I'll be able to know who you are. But thanks so much for joining us. So let's talk about taking a tour with your eyes on the bone. When you look at a short sale property, don't just look at it aesthetically because it may not be aesthetically pleasing. The carpet may need replacing, it may need painting, there may be some dated light fixtures in there. But what you want to look at are the bigger things, okay? Try to focus on the major structural repairs, if any, that may be needed. And sometimes if you're in the basement, you may see something. If it's an unfinished basement, you may be able to look up and see a little bit of deterioration in the wood. So you think to yourself, well, I may need to do some pest inspection. I may need to have a pest inspection and might need to do some pest treatment. Okay. You want to go into that door, looking at the property electrical. You want to look at some plumbing related things. You want to get a sense for, do the appliances work? You want to get a sense of, has the roof recently been replaced? I've seen short sale listed and it'll say the roof is 2 years old. Now, as you know, that is one of the major repairs if you purchase a home. And wouldn't that be a relief to know that you just purchased a home with a 2-year-old roof? You can handle some carpet. You can handle some paint. So when you're touring, try to focus on the issues that would require some major structural repairs. Obvious moisture or dampness. You may have a water problem. Any kind of electrical connections that just look odd as you're walking through the house or if you're looking at the circuit breaker box. Okay? A lot of purchases and offers that are made on a short sale will require a home inspection, but it really is as is home inspection with the right to terminate. So once the bank approves the property, the short sale, the terms that are on that contract and the bank has approved it, then you get to do a home inspection. Okay? So keep that in mind as you walk through the home for what are the bones, not the aesthetic stuff, the landscaping on the outside, but what are some of the things that may be major repairs. The next piece I want to talk about is how much is the house worth? Now, we know that the home is listed for a certain price. You're going to then do a competitive market analysis. You're going to look to see how much are the homes in this neighborhood going for? And then you realize, okay, yep, this one is priced $50,000 less, $75,000 less, maybe even $100,000 less than the other homes that have sold recently in the neighborhood. So before you put an offer on that house, you'll need to determine how much is it worth. Okay? Not how much the homeowner owns, because we know that they owe this much X and they're selling it for X minus. Okay? So you want to figure out, well, how much are the homes selling for in this neighborhood? So oftentimes after you've made the offer, your lender is still going to do an appraisal. They're still going to make sure you're not paying more than the house is worth. Okay, so you're going to make an offer based on the comps, meaning what has sold very recently in the neighborhood. You're going to look at fair market or standard sales, and you're probably going to subtract for the condition of the home that you're looking at. So usually realtors do a really good job of listing short sales at a good price. They're going to be listed for less than the standard sale. So you want to consider that as well as do some of your homework yourself. So you can ask the owner directly if you want to know. Some tax records will show you. There's some public information that can tell you what the seller owes. But what it's listed for and what other homes are listed for is really what's going to drive you to make the best decision about how much the house is worth. Not what you're going to pay for it, but how much is it really worth. Okay? So consider that in your thoughts about, am I going to buy this short sale? So when you make your offer on the home, typically you're going to include in there a contingency for a home inspection. Now, there are some times as a buyer, you may want to do the inspection before you put an offer on a home. And if that is the case, you want to work that out, your realtor, with the listing agent to see if you can do an inspection before. If you do your inspection after the contract has been accepted by the third party, remember, then when you go in, you're going to do a full-blown inspection like you typically would with a standard resale, and you'll understand the condition of the home and how much money, if any, you will need to invest in the structural and mechanical. We're not talking cosmetic, which is always the case. A home inspection is not for cosmetic reasons. It's not for the paint and the carpet. It is structural and mechanical. So you're going to do the same thing with your short sale purchase. Okay? Let me see if I got any questions. Hey, Facebook. Tour with an eye of the bones of the home. I'm so glad that you thought that that was important information. And then when you have your inspection, the inspector will absolutely look at that heating, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, and the structural foundation of the property. And you're also going to make sure that you have scheduled what we call a pest inspection, which will cover termites and other wood-destroying insects. Okay? Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you again. I'm glad that that was super helpful. Now, after you get an inspection, you say, what do you mean, Gersha? What do you mean keep looking? Well, I had a t-shirt that said this, and my mother used to say it all the time. A watch pot never boils. You know how it is when you're waiting for that pot to boil, you put some eggs in there, or you're waiting to cook your pasta, and it seems like it takes forever before it boils. It's the same thing with a short sale. Every short sale is different. It depends on the lender, which mortgage company that seller has their mortgage with, how fast they're going to respond, how slow they're going to respond, how quickly they're going to get back to you, how much information they keep asking the seller. All of that will determine how quickly you're going to get an answer from the short sale third party that's involved in the short sale. Okay, so A short sale house application must be met with unresolved silence. When you submit an offer, you just gotta wait. You gotta wait. You gotta wait. Hopefully, this isn't the case for you, and you're able to get the keys, pop the champagne, and get to work on those home repairs. But it could take, and I like to tell this to my buyer clients, it could take anywhere from really 45 days to sometimes 5 to 6 months to get an answer. And you want to be patient during that process. What you can do is continue to look on the market and see what's available. Now, you are under contract when they have accepted your contract. You have given the seller a certain amount of time. It's in the contract. You've given them a certain amount of time to get an answer from the bank. And you need to stick to those terms. But it doesn't hurt to keep looking and see what's out there. Okay? If a short sale isn't the right kind of home purchase for you, then don't go down that route. Okay? Because what now needs to happen is after you've submitted, after the bank have looked at all the terms, they've run all the number, they're going to do what we call approve the short sale, which means they've approved the terms of the contract that you submitted. Now, there could be some back and forth before they approve it, but once they approve it, the steps move along just like a regular real estate transaction. You then have your home inspection, your lender moves forward and has the property appraised. You get the title work done on there, which was already started because that's a process with short sales. Is the title work has already begun. And then you go to settlement. So from the moment that you submit the contract to the approval, that's the part that can take anywhere from 45 days to 5 months or so, right? And once it's approved, you usually will get to settlement like a traditional transaction in about 30 to 45 days. It really depends on your lender. Okay, so there is hope. I have had buyers purchase homes that are short sales. Now, I'll tell you, the one that's really a winner is when the short sale is already approved. That usually will happen when there was another buyer. There was a buyer, they submitted an offer, they went through that process to get the third party approval, and something happened. We don't know what happened, but it got approved. Oftentimes, it's because that buyer became impatient and they didn't want to wait, or they waited and something happened for them and they chose not to buy the home. There you go. You now have an approved short sale that you know that the bank has approved the price. You submit your offer, you go through the process, and you would have a home in about 45 days. Okay, so in your case, you don't have to wait the 45 days to 6 months to get it approved. It's already been approved. All right, so that is the high level of how you can move forward with a short sale. If you have any questions, please drop it in the chat, drop it in the comments here. I'm going to go quickly and see if there's anything on Facebook that I might be missing. Please know that if you don't have a question quite yet, I'm going to be able to visit your comments after we're off today, and I will make sure that I respond. Okay? So once again, thank you so much for joining us, and I want to talk to my folks right now who want to own again. Did you lose your home to foreclosure, short sale, bankruptcy, or divorce? Do you want to be coached back to your greatness of being a homeowner? Join my Facebook group. Go to GershaPorter.com. I have a group, it's called Own Again. That's where Black families coach with me when they are ready to silence the shame of no longer being a homeowner. I give them the confidence to go from stuck to unstoppable. Yes, I do. So that their mindset is healthy and they are no longer being held hostage. If you are ready to own again and you're ready to coach with me, go to GershaPorter.com. Book a call with me if you want to own again. I'll make sure to leave the link in the comments. Join us every week at 5 o'clock for Own Again Live. And if you didn't catch it live, please do leave us a comment when you watch it at a replay, #replay. If you aren't already following us, please do like and follow my Facebook page. Our business Facebook page is Porter Premier Homes on Facebook. You can also find me on Instagram at Gersha Porter. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for the comment. I appreciate you joining our show on again. Look for us. If you're not getting my newsletters, please send me a message so I can get your email address and we can get those out to you as well. It is the selling season. I am busy already. I am loving it. That's what real estate is all about, right? We have real estate here. Summer is the busy time. Anybody looking for a condo in Port Deposit, Maryland? I have an amazing 2-bedroom, 2-bath that's on the market with some amazing water views of the Susquehanna River. It's listed for $175,000. The condo fees, I think, are around $350, $400 a month, and it's available. You can take a look on my website. You can take a look on Facebook if you'd like some more information. Let me know if you're looking for that second home. If you're looking for a place to escape from the hustle and bustle of life, it's very convenient to Pennsylvania, DC, Delaware, and Maryland. Okay? So thank you guys again for coming out today. If you want to reach out to me, I'm going to make sure that my Calendly link is in the comments. So you can just set up a quick strategy call. I'd love to talk with you more. Definitely share this, please. Remember, I'm Gersha Porter. I eliminate confusion for buyers by giving them strategies to unlock resources to buy their dream home. Once again, this is On Again. We're going to go out with some Beyonce. I look forward to you guys joining me next week. Have an amazing rest of the day. Take care. When you're alone.